Lena, a volunteer from the local nature reserve, walked along a narrow trail, her light backpack slung over her shoulders. Her job was to patrol the area, checking markers, monitoring the forest's condition, and looking for signs of poachers. At 25, she had spent 3 years in these woods, learning to read them like an open book. But today, the forest felt different. The silence was too heavy, almost tangible, and Lena felt a faint unease she couldn't explain. She paused to check her map when her ears caught a strange sound, a high-pitched, piercing wail, unlike any bird call or typical forest rustle. Lena froze, listening. The sound came again, plaintive, almost desperate. Her heart beat faster. She knew these parts were home to bears, wolves, and sometimes lynxes. But this sound wasn't threatening. It was a cry for help. Lena adjusted her backpack straps and, gripping the folding knife in her pocket, moved toward the sound. The trail was left behind as she pushed through dense undergrowth, stepping as quietly as she could. The wail grew louder, mixed with low growls. A chill ran down her spine. She knew following such a sound could be dangerous, but something inside her wouldn't let her turn back. She imagined someone, or something, suffering, and that thought urged her forward. Finally, she emerged into a small clearing. There, among the ferns, she saw it, a bear cub, no older than 6 months. Its paw was caught in a rusty metal trap, the kind poachers used for animals. The cub thrashed, trying to free itself, but each movement only drove the trap's teeth deeper into its paw. It growled, but it wasn't a fierce roar, more a mix of fear and pain. Its fur was matted, and its eyes gleamed with panic. Lena stopped, her breath catching. She knew the cub's mother could be nearby. A mother bear never leaves her cub for long, especially in a situation like this. Lena scanned the surroundings, listening for any rustle. The forest was silent, but the silence felt ominous. She knew the mother could be just meters away, hidden among the trees, and if she saw Lena as a threat, the chances of escaping unharmed were slim, but leaving wasn't an option. Lena dropped to her knees, moving slowly to avoid startling the cub. She spoke softly, her voice trembling but gentle. "Shh, little one, shh. I'll help you. Don't be scared." The cub froze, staring at her. Its ears twitched, but it didn't growl. Lena inched closer, keeping her knife ready, not to harm the cub, but to try prying open the trap. Her hands shook as she touched the cold metal. The trap was old, rusted, but still sturdy. Lena knew such traps were illegal, but poachers didn't care about laws. They set them for wolves, boars, sometimes even bears, heedless of what might get caught. She took a deep breath, trying to steady herself. The cub watched her, and something in its gaze made Lena clench her jaw and focus. She couldn't abandon it. Carefully, avoiding the cub's paw, she wedged her knife into the trap's mechanism, searching for a pressure point. The metal creaked but didn't budge. Sweat trickled down her temple. Time dragged on agonizingly. She knew every second increased the risk. Come on," she whispered to herself or the cub, she wasn't sure. Finally, a click. The trap loosened, and Lena, gritting her teeth, gently pried its jaws apart. The cub yelped, not from pain but from surprise. Its paw was free, though blood stained its fur. Lena leaned back, expecting the cub to bolt, but it didn't run. It just sat there, looking at her with its big dark eyes. There was no fear in that gaze, only curiosity and perhaps gratitude. Lena felt her heart tighten. She wanted to say something more, but at that moment the forest came alive. A loud snap of branches, heavy and deliberate, broke the silence. Lena froze. Her hand instinctively gripped the knife, though she knew it was useless against an adult bear. She slowly looked up and saw her, the mother bear. Massive, with dark brown fur, she stood a few meters away, her eyes locked on Lena. Time seemed to stop. Lena didn't move, barely daring to breathe. She knew any sudden movement could provoke an attack. The bear snorted, her breath forming a puff of vapor in the cold morning air. She took a step forward, then another. Lena felt her legs weaken, but she forced herself to stand still. The bear stopped beside the cub. She lowered her head, sniffed it, and let out a low rumble. The cub gave a faint squeak and pressed itself against her. Lena braced for the bear to turn on her, but it didn't. Instead, the mother gently nudged the cub with her muzzle and it hobbled after her. They moved slowly, not looking back. Lena watched their silhouettes fade into the forest until the sound of snapping branches died away. She exhaled, only now realizing she'd been holding her breath. Her hands still trembled and her heart pounded as if trying to break free. Lena sank to the ground, exhaustion washing over her. She looked at the trap, now empty and useless, and kicked it. Her thoughts were a jumble. She knew she'd done the right thing, but fear still pulsed through her veins. When Lena returned to the reserve's camp, her colleagues noticed she looked paler than usual. She told them about the cub, the trap, the mother bear. Her voice shook, but there was pride in it. They listened, breathless, and then one of them, an old ranger named Ivan, shook his head. "You're brave, Lena." Or crazy, but it seems the bear understood that. Lena only smiled. She didn't feel brave. She just couldn't have done otherwise. That evening, she sat by the campfire, staring at the stars, thinking of the cub. She hoped its paw would heal, that it would grow strong and healthy. And she thought of the mother bear, of her gaze, not angry or afraid, but calm, almost humanly wise. The story spread through the reserve and beyond. Lena didn't seek fame, but one of the volunteers recorded her telling the story and posted it online. The video racked up thousands of views, with people commenting, calling her a hero. Lena was embarrassed reading them, saying she was just doing her job. But deep down, she knew that day had changed her. The forest was no longer just her workplace. It was something more, a place where miracles could happen, where even a bear could say thank you with her silence. Lena continued her patrols. She became more thorough, checking trails for old traps to ensure no other animal would suffer. And every time she passed that clearing, she couldn't help but glance around, hoping to catch a glimpse of familiar silhouettes. But the forest kept its secrets, and the cub and its mother never appeared again. Only sometimes, on especially quiet mornings, Lena heard a distant roar and smiled, knowing they were out there, somewhere deep in the woods, and they were okay. Dear friend, thank you for watching the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories from the wild.